Hare Krishna, Namaste. Chapter 11, entitled as Vishwarupa Dharshana Yoga, Sloka 55. mat-karma-kṛn mat-paramo mad-bhaktaḥ saṅga-varjitaḥ nirvairaḥ sarva-bhūteṣu estamam iti pāṇḍava. This is the last sloka of this chapter, where Krishna speaks about the mature stage of bhakti, which is a direct mean for attaining Krishna. Let's see the word by word. Pāṇḍava, O son of Pandu, mat-karma-kṛn, engaged in doing my work. mat-paramo, considering me the supreme. mad-bhaktaḥ, engaged in my devotional service. saṅga-varjitaḥ, freed from the contamination of fruitive activities and mental speculation. sarva-bhūteṣu nirvairaḥ, without hatred towards any being. yah, who, sah, only he, mameti, attains me. Translation: My dear Arjuna, he who engages in my pure devotional service, free from the contaminations of fruitive activities and mental speculation, he who works for me, who makes me the supreme goal of his life, and who is friendly to every living being, is certainly comes to me. There are 5 important stages are being mentioned here. mat-karma-kṛn, mat-paramo, mad-bhaktaḥ, saṅga-varjitaḥ, sarva-bhūteṣu nirvairaḥ. These are the 5. Let's see them now. mat-karma-kṛn. He who carries, karma means activities, one who does activities. When he does those activities, it is done as a service to me. That is, he who carries out the various activities like the study of Vedas, teaching Vedas to others, explaining the meanings of Vedas, reciting them or hearing them. These are all part of study of Vedas, or performing austerity, giving charity, any of those nature. Everything is taken as a mode of worship of the Lord. Pretty much any activity, even eating, sleeping, everything is considered to be activities that done as a mode of service to Krishna. In this stage, mat-karma-kṛn, one has an untold fear within that he has to do all these things, otherwise he may get a reaction, or he may get into a bad book of Krishna for not performing his duty, for failing to do his duty. Therefore, he very meticulously tried to do his duty so that he can get the grace of Krishna and not being rejected by Krishna. And this is the fear that he has. And this fear is not bad during one's initial stage. Then when one continues to perform one's duty with that fear, what happens is that gradually one gets a stability, and that becomes their nature to perform any activity. And as they do, they come to an understanding that whatever he is doing is not just the order of Krishna, but By doing so, Krishna is getting pleasure and becomes happy. Therefore, he does those things rather than fear with love for Krishna. He started with fear, and that fear transformed into love for Krishna to make Krishna happy. That becomes the next stage called mat-paramo. The highest goal for him is to perform all these activities to give pleasure to the only and one Lord, Krishna, who is supreme. Mat-paramo, that becomes his goal, to make Krishna happy. While doing all these activities, this person doesn't want any prayojana, any fruitive result. He only wants one: to see Krishna happy. To attain Krishna is the only goal. That is the third stage. The first one is mat-karma-kṛn, where he performs all activities as a service to Krishna. And the second stage is he performs this for only one reason: to give pleasure to Krishna. And while he does that one, he himself does not expect anything out of it. That is the third stage, mad-bhaktaḥ. He who has unwavering, unshakable bhakti for me alone, mad-bhaktaḥ. Because of his boundless devotion for me, he is unable to sustain himself even for a moment. He cannot sustain without reciting my names. Even though he may be doing so many activities, his tongue chants my name continuously. Even though he is doing other activities, he constantly remembers my pastimes. He is engaged in hearing my praises. He meditates upon me. Whatever he sees, he connects those things to me to see how those things can be used in the service of me. Mad-bhaktaḥ. He cannot stop doing any activities that he is performing, because all the activities that he is doing are considered to be service to Krishna. Of course, those activities are the one which are prescribed by Krishna in the Shastra. Therefore, he does everything for the pleasure of Krishna, consider everything to be devotional service. So, not doing any of these activities makes him broken-hearted, make him depressed, unbearable. It is important to note that as one's love for Krishna increases, his devotional services parallelly increases. He does out of love. These two cannot be separated, and this leads to the fourth stage, that is saṅga-varjitaḥ. Number 1, mat-karma-kṛn. One does activities for the pleasure of Krishna. Number 2, mat-paramo. He considers Krishna as the supreme God of all activities. Number 3, mad-bhaktaḥ. He does with unwavering, unshakable devotion towards Krishna. And number 4, saṅga-varjitaḥ. As he is engaged in his duty, his devotional service, his activities with great love, anything could happen during his activity. There could be some hindrance for his services in some way or the other, in some form or the other, but he doesn't get disturbed or get frustrated. This is a very important stage, because many takes up devotional service in their life as they become devotee, and for whatever the reason something happens in the due course of time, they get disturbed. When they get disturbed, either they quit doing their service, or they are very unhappy and start complaining. The point is, as long as one lives in this world, one should know problems are inevitable. They are going to come to us in one way or the other. We are surrounded by problems. We are surrounded by many people, spouse, children, relatives, friends, money, name, fame, prestige, many of these things. Any of these things or combination of these things can pull us down. This person who is strong in his devotional service and who is completely convinced of Krishna's supreme position does not get attached to any of these surroundings. So this person rather sincerely prays to the lotus feet of the Lord to be freed sooner from all these attachments. This is the fourth stage, saṅga-varjitaḥ. One gets frustrated towards worldly things. Rather, in contrary, his attachment increases towards Krishna. And that leads to the final stage, nirvairaḥ, free from enmity, hatred towards anyone. Two important points on this. Number one, for this person, having Krishna, experiencing Krishna is his only sole pleasure. Lack of experience of Krishna is his only means of suffering. To us, to understand easily, if I get food now, I am happy. If I am unable to eat now, I am in sorrow. Whereas for the bhakta, if he is able to continuously remember Krishna, he is happy. If he forgets for whatever the reason, if he forgets Krishna even for a moment, he is distressed. This is the only thing which makes him happy and miserable. Nothing else. For him, happiness comes when he is united with the Lord, and distress comes when he is separated from the Lord. Therefore, he is free from hatred towards others. Second point, he knows very well that everything is happening because of his own karma. If he is happy, it is because of his punya karma. If he is suffering, it is because of his papa karma. Therefore, he has a firm understanding that everything is because of the karma, his previous karma. And the second point he understands is, everyone is subordinate, subservient to the Lord. it is the Lord who induces them to do certain acts. No one can do things on their own. They are all completely dependent on the Lord. The idea is that He is not or doesn't feel or have any ill feelings to anyone because they caused the trouble to Him. How is that possible? Because He knows very well no one is independent. They are all under the control of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, and whatever they do, it is sanctioned by Krishna. Therefore, I should not be hating anyone because the order comes from Krishna and they are just simply an instrument in executing those orders. And of course, whatever Krishna does is for my own good. Not only that, hating anyone is indirectly hating the Supreme Lord or hurting the Supreme Lord. How is that? Because Arjuna has seen in the cosmic form that everyone is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. There is no one is out of Supreme Lord who functions independently. Therefore, I cannot say I like certain part of the Supreme Lord and I hate certain part of the Supreme Lord. And finally, that leads to mameti. They are freed from the shackles of samsara, from their karmas, and attains me, enjoys me alone. To summarize, O Pāṇḍava, he who carries out various activities like study of Vedas, etc., looking on them as modes of worship towards me, that is stage 1, mat-karma-kṛn. Then, he who considers me as a supreme goal of all the activities, in other words, performs all his activities for the pleasure of the Lord, that is stage 2, mat-paramo. He who has unwavering, unshakable devotion unto me and me alone, that is an important underlined statement. That is the third stage, mad-bhaktaḥ. Therefore, he is completely attached towards me and not to anything else, is detached from other things than me. That is the fourth stage, saṅga-varjitaḥ, will be free from any hatred or enmity towards any being. That is the fifth stage, nirvairaḥ. That person will be free from the shackles of karma and attains me alone. That concludes chapter 11. mat-karma-kṛn mat-paramo mad-bhaktaḥ saṅga-varjitaḥ nirvairaḥ sarva-bhūteṣu yasya mam iti pāṇḍava. Om tat sat iti Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Vishvarupa Darshana Yogo Nama Ekadasodhyayah. Namaste. Hare Krishna.